Yes, guys, what's going on? Welcome to AdamMcKola TV. This is United Daily Live. We are back with the latest Manchester United news, headlines, transfer rumours, all that good stuff. And on the agenda today is none other than Donny van der Beek. He has been linked with a move to Manchester United, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and a few other clubs this evening and throughout the day as well. And it all kicked off after his manager, Ajax, confirmed that he was not playing in their game today, their friendly game today, because there had been a development in a transfer. Now, the club didn't say who that was with, what had happened, whether a bid had been accepted or anything like that, but they had confirmed that Donny van der Beek wasn't injured. He just wasn't involved with the team today because a deal was being lined up for him to leave the club this transfer window. Now, we heard last summer from Edwin van der Sar that Ajax had a deal in place with Donny van der Beek in terms of allowing him to leave this summer. And it seemed like he was destined for Real Madrid. A £50 million deal had been agreed in January, and all that was left for him to do was do the medical and sign on the contract. But then when the summer came around, we were obviously entering into a period of uncertainty with the coronavirus and everything like that, and Real Madrid's funds weren't quite there. They wanted to get a lot of that fee down, and they failed to do that. And as a result, they pulled out of a deal for Donny van der Beek. So they dropped out of a deal for Van der Beek, and then he was put back onto the market. Now, Real Madrid are still linked. Barcelona are still linked. Man United are still linked. And Spurs have been linked in the last 24 hours as well. So we'll look at all of the reports that have come from this. But it's clear that a deal is closed for Donny van der Beek, whether it's to Manchester United or anywhere else. There's also talk about Manchester United prioritising a move for Jadon Sancho. Now, we've heard variations of development on this Jadon Sancho deal, but nothing has really changed. Manchester United still looking to make the deal happen, if you believe the reports, but no news yet on that one as to being any closer. 5 subs are being discussed again by the Premier League clubs, and we'll be looking at everything else that is going on in the world of Manchester United today. So make sure you're keeping it locked, you're subscribing, liking, commenting, sharing, joining the channel if you can, and of course getting your super chats in as well. As always on the show, we'll start off with the 29th of August on this day. It's the 29th of August today, and on this day in 1908, so on a Saturday, the 29th of August 1908, Manchester United won the first FA Charity Shield. Now, we saw Arsenal beat Liverpool on penalties today for the Charity Shield, but Manchester United won the first FA Charity Shield on this day in 1908 as Northern League champions. They beat their Southern League equivalent, Queen's Park Rangers, 4-0 in a replay at Stamford Bridge. Sandy Turnbull fires a hat-trick and George Wall slots home 1. So Manchester United on this day won the very first ever Charity Shield on this day, 1908. So that's today's on this day. I can see loads of you guys that have jumped in to the comments. We got Mubariz, we got Test, we got Ben, we got Ross, we got Vishal, we got Patrick, Sean, Aman, David, Van Cam's in the house, Ross Murphy. We got loads of you guys in the house. So thank you all for joining us. And let's get stuck into the timeline of events on Donny van der Beek today. Now, we've heard initially that he was absent from the Ajax squad to face Eintracht Frankfurt today due to transfer developments. Now, this came initially from Dutch reports, and then it was confirmed by Erik ten Hag, the Ajax manager. He said there are indeed developments that keep him out of the squad to face Eintracht Frankfurt, but they didn't go any further as to state what those developments were. In the reports that came from Holland, they said that Manchester United and Barcelona were in for Donny van der Beek and were becoming more concrete about the deal. And this was coming from the Telegraph. So they didn't mention Real Madrid, and they didn't mention Tottenham Hotspur as being in for Donny van der Beek. They mentioned Manchester United and Barcelona. But then we saw reports from Spain saying that Donny van der Beek was not an option for Barcelona. And these came from reliable journalists Gerard Romero and Oriol Dominic over in Spain, who tweeted and reported that Donny van der Beek initially was not an option for Barcelona, and then that Donny van der Beek was about to sign for Manchester United, and Jorginho Wijnaldum is Barcelona's preferred midfield target. So that's what Oriol Domenech was saying, that Barcelona were going after Wijnaldum. That's not the first time we've heard that. We've heard that a number of times, and it kind of dovetails in with Ronald Koeman. But Van der Beek has a relationship with Ronald Koeman as well. He's obviously, they're all Dutch, so you could see him being linked with Donny van der Beek and Jorginho Wijnaldum. But there's been links with Wijnaldum leaving Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp was kind of hesitant in committing to Wijnaldum's future. So it looks like potentially Jorginho Wijnaldum could be going to Barcelona. Therefore, in that report, the Spanish press was saying Donny van der Beek is set to sign for Man United. Now, we don't know whether that is those guys predicting that by a process of elimination, because we heard the reports coming out from Holland. So you've got to try and break down these reports now. We heard the reports coming out of Holland. He wasn't in the squad. Barcelona and United have been interested, and transfer developments are taking place. Ajax then confirmed that. And then we saw reports coming out of Spain that actually, Barcelona aren't interested in him. So they might have just been doing a process of elimination. Well, if Barcelona aren't in for him, surely he's set to sign for Manchester United. So that was what was coming out of Holland and then Spain. And then we had various different reports coming out from England. And thank you to United Report and Man United Zone for compiling all these various different reports. I see a few of them coming through on the timeline, but these guys do a great job of getting them all out there. And then they put the Mirror came out and said Solskjaer has told Donny van der Beek that he wants him to help turn Manchester United back into Premier League title contenders. Van der Beek refused to play in Ajax's game today. United now expect to complete a 40 million deal for the player. Sources in Holland say the only way Manchester United now miss out on Donny van der Beek is if there is an unexpected counter bid from Real Madrid or Barcelona. Now, we've already heard Real Madrid aren't in for him. If they were in for him, they would have sorted out the deal that they had in place for him a long time ago, and he would have made that move. Barcelona, Spanish reports saying Barcelona are not in for him. So now we're hearing United, Solskjaer has been speaking with the player directly, and sources in Holland say the only way United will now miss out is if there's an unexpected counter bid from Barcelona or Real Madrid. And as a result, ESPN were then coming out saying Manchester United are favourites to sign Donny van der Beek. Barcelona is not an option, as United are at the front of the queue to complete a deal. Simon Peach tweeted as well, saying that unlike some speculation, this isn't complete cuckoo land. And the Mail went on to say United are monitoring the Donny van der Beek situation, and they've held talks with Aston Villa for Jack Grealish, and are also monitoring developments with Donny van der Beek. Simon Stone also pretty much said the same thing. So obviously there's some sort of smoke here. Now, what's going on? Is there going to be a fire? Are Man United going to sign him? Who knows what's going to happen on that? But it's clear that there's interest from Manchester United. We've heard Edwin van der Sar over the last 12 months confirm that there's been some sort of contact between Manchester United and Ajax. We know they want 40 million euros for him, which is around 36 million pounds. And I think in this market, for a player that's 23 years old, I think 23, 24, in this market, 36 million pounds for a player of that quality who has played at the top level, been critical in their run to the Champions League semi-finals, I think is an absolute bargain. Fabrizio Romano has also been reporting on this as well, saying United have been in contact with his agents for weeks and have monitored him for many months. Ajax are waiting to receive an official bid. Ajax will let him leave for around 40 million euros. He would love to join the Premier League. No formal bid has been made yet to Ajax. So that's what's been coming out from Fabrizio Romano and also from the Telegraph as well. So we've had a whole host of reports from Spain, Holland, England, Fabrizio Romano, all confirming that there's some sort of interest from Manchester United in for Donny van der Beek. But the Spanish reports that came out saying that the deal was done, the deal was close, they're maybe a little bit premature. Now they may be just coming out and saying, well, Barcelona definitely aren't interested in him, so that must mean United are going to sign him. I wouldn't get too carried away with things yet. We saw similar reports in regards to Jadon Sancho. Now, it may be a case we've spoken with Donny van de Beek. We've got the deal, potentially agreed with him if he's going to come in terms of terms. And now we just need to sort out a deal with Ajax. But Ajax have been pretty sure that they want 40 million euros. And I don't see United really haggling over that, although it wouldn't surprise me if they did. And this looks like a deal that could be pretty smooth in terms of the transition of getting that deal agreed, getting the player signed up. He was been speaking in the press about wanting to play in the Premier League in the recent months. So this is a move that could happen very quickly. It's a move we've spoken about an awful lot. It looks like this is an alternative to Jack Grealish potentially. Although, unlike Jack Grealish, Donny van de Beek can play in the number 6 position. Obviously, he plays in the 8 position as well. He gets goals, he gets assists, but he can also play in that number 6 position. And if Manchester United were to sign him, it'd be an investment in that midfield area that we do need to make. But also, it could possibly signal that the rumours about Fred potentially going to Turkey are true. Now, playing Donny van de Beek with Bruno and Pogba in a 4-2-3-1 or in a 4-3-3, it represents a quality midfield three, probably not with the perfect balance, but I believe Donny van de Beek is a player that has the intelligence, has the movement, has the positional awareness to be able to hold if need be. Now, is not that Nemanja Matic figure that's going to come in, just sit there, be a robust holding midfielder that you would maybe need in a 4-3-3. But in a 4-2-3-1 formation, for a team that's going to have the majority of the ball, he's not going to be playing in the number 10 position, which we know he can play in, and he can play in that attacking midfield role. He's going to be a central midfielder for Manchester United. Now, he was looked at as almost a Paul Pogba replacement about 6 months ago, 12 months ago. But now it looks like it could be a reinforcement in that midfield for Manchester United. Possibly, does it mean something about Fred potentially leaving? Because then if you've got Matic, Fred, McTominay, Donny van de Beek, Pogba, Bruno, that's a lot of players there that, they're not all going to be kept happy. So you could possibly see one of them leaving. Now, if that happened, I could still, imagine if you got Donny van de Beek for 36 million, you managed to get rid of Fred or something, I don't know, for 20 million. You could still possibly go in for Jack Grealish if you've got the money there, because he plays in those more attacking areas. If you're looking to use Donny van de Beek in that 6 or that 8 position, Jack Grealish could come in as an alternative for your front three and in that alternative for the Bruno position. So, whilst I don't think we will be signing Van de Beek, Grealish, Sancho, that would be a dream window, which is not going to happen. I don't think signing Van de Beek means you couldn't fit a Jack Grealish into the team, if you get what I'm saying. But I do think it's an either-or scenario in this situation. And the Van de Beek deal looks like it maybe United have been working on a Jadon Sancho deal, trying to get that fee down. Do you remember what I was saying? Like, United possibly trying to get that fee down on Jadon Sancho, the initial fee, so that when we do go to look elsewhere, potentially at Jack Grealish or someone, we've got more funds to chuck at them. Now United have probably seen that Borussia Dortmund aren't messing around here. They're not going to take a minimal fee. They're going to take a lot of money up front. United have probably thought, well, actually, we're not going to be able to spend the £50 million on Jack Grealish that Aston Villa want. Let's just go in with this £36 million deal for Donny van de Beek, which is a lot easier to make. So that could be a possibility. But Van de Beek would be a fantastic signing for Manchester United. I've said it all along. If it meant Van de Beek over Grealish, personally, I want to see Jack Grealish at United. But there's no doubt in Van de Beek has the qualities. And some people might argue he's more proven at the top level because of those performances in the Champions League for Ajax. Some big performances against Chelsea, against Real Madrid, some fantastic performances in the Champions League for Ajax. So you've got to look at him and say, for £36 million, he represent an absolute bargain for Manchester United. He comes into an area where we need to improve, and I do think you could make a Van de Beek, Pogba, Bruno midfield work at times. I do think in those bigger games, you're probably looking to play a Nemanja Matic in those bigger games, but we're going to have to wrap Nemanja Matic up in cotton wool to make sure that he's not getting injured, to make sure he's not having any long-term issues throughout the season, so that he's present for those bigger games in that holding midfield position. Because it'd be, maybe too much sauce to go in with Pogba, Van der Beek and Bruno in a midfield three against some of the top opposition in the Champions League, even in the Premier League. But in most games, you could probably get away with that. I think they have the intelligence. I think they definitely do have the intelligence to play that. You've lost it. This is a bargain deal. Of course, it's a bargain deal. Who said it wasn't a bargain deal? Not sure what you're on about, Danish. Timmy deserves another season to make no sense going on loan. I don't think Galatasaray wanted Fred on loan with an option to buy last year too, says Paul. Fred is the complete opposite of Van der Beek. Van der Beek is extremely good at possession-based football, whilst Fred is very good at pressing and counter-attacking. Need both to stay, says Cannonballer. But I think it's unlikely. It's unlikely. How do you get Matic, McTominay? Because look, Pogba and Bruno are going to play more often than not. So Matic, Bruno, Pogba, Bruno are going to play more often than not. So you're going to have Fred, McTominay, Matic and Van der Beek fighting for one spot for the whole season. You're not keeping all four of those happy. You've got to get rid of one of them, I think. I think that's what it come down to. Nemanja Matic isn't going anywhere. He's just signed a new deal. And we've seen... I'm not saying we should be looking to move Fred on. When I did the video about 10 players that could leave, Fred wasn't in that list because, I thought he played quite well in the first half of last season. But it's a possibility. Thank you very much for your comment, Ben. JC's lost all faith in the club making any deals happening. I think that's because I know we do this show every single day, but you've got to start reading every single story that pops up, every single tweet that comes out, because you just drive yourself crazy worrying about transfers, especially when Manchester United at the helm. Viren says, would be a steal at 36 million, would add something different to our bench and our first team as well. Need Matic replacement. It'd be great to just have quality in depth as well. It'd be great to have that. And he's definitely a player that would come in and be looking to start in games as well. He's not going to just accept a position on the bench. But that's what you need. You need players that can come in, improve your first 11, which I think he would in some games, and improve your bench. Is that £36 million? What a bargain, especially when you look at some of the prices that are spoken about for Declan Rice. 60, 70, 80 million, depending where you read. Like, incredible value for someone of Donny van der Beek's quality and his class. What am I saying about Reguilon? We've heard a lot of rumours linking Manchester United with a move for him. I don't think that one is going to happen. He's obviously a quality player, and he would add something to the team, but I don't think we're going to be looking at that. I think we're more likely to be in the market for a centre half than a fullback, but let's wait and see if that happens. We're still looking on getting Jadon Sancho, hopefully, possibly a Donny van der Beek in the bag as well. Could Manchester United actually get 3 deals over the line? Doesn't look that way at the moment, but let's see what happens. Fabrizio Romano obviously reiterating that no official bid has been made by Manchester United yet for Donny van der Beek, but he is trending. Manchester United are the ones that are leading the race according to most reports. We just now have to wait and see what happens. And it's good to hear talk of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, although it could be absolute rubbish. It's good to hear talk of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer actually contacting players, reaching out and saying, I want you at this club. Let's go. We've got a project here. We're trying to build something. We're trying to win trophies. Let's come to Manchester United and make it happen. So good to hear if that is the case. As we've also heard as well, although we have heard a lot of talk about Donny van der Beek joining Manchester United, there are also a few updates on Jadon Sancho, and those updates were that Manchester United were prioritising a move for Jadon Sancho and were still confident of making a move happen. So that is the latest on him. Obviously Fabrizio Romano has tweeted, it looks like, or has reiterated, he will only be a Manchester United player if United decide to pay the 120 million euros. Maybe United are now just trying to shift things around in order to get that 120 million euros up, 108 million euros up. That could be the case, most definitely. We've obviously got Alexis Sanchez off the wage bill early. We're looking to get Chris Smalling out of Manchester United. Talk about Diogo Dalot. Talk about various other players, Sergio Romero, Phil Jones. You know, there's a lot of players that have been linked with a move away from Man United. United are probably trying to get rid of a few of them first before they can make anything else happen. Who saw Patrice Evra playing Saturday or Sunday League football? Well, it would have been Saturday League because it was today. But amateur football down in London, which is a little bit of a surprise. But yeah, good to see Patrice Evra getting stuck in. But yeah, guys, let us know what you're thinking about all that we've discussed today. Obviously, United looking like they're at the front of the race for Donny van de Beek, but nothing yet confirmed. But what a bargain it would be at £36 million if we were to make it happen. Obviously, if there are any updates on Donny van de Beek or anything else relating to Manchester United, you will hear about it here on AdamMcKola TV. So get hitting that like button, get commenting, get sharing, get subscribing, get joining if you can as well. What's this about 5 subs, says David? Well, if you remember, after COVID came in and we had the break from football, Premier League clubs had 5 substitutions. They were able to make 5 substitutions in 3 intervals within the game. Now, that was seemingly voted against going into next season. Now, though, it looks like it could be back on the cards and it could be back on the table with the clubs set to vote on it on September the 2nd. So we'll find out next week whether we will be continuing with the 5 substitutions rule in the Premier League for next season. So let's wait and see what happens with that as well. I'd rather us go back to the 3 substitutions rule, but there you go. Who knows what will happen? And obviously there's the effects of this kind of coronavirus break and all the football coming back, loads of games in between, not much pre-season. Maybe the clubs think it's within their interests to maybe up until the end of the calendar year have that 5 substitutions rule in, or maybe you just keep it till the end of the season if that's the case. But nevertheless, there you go. Anyway, guys, let us know your thoughts on Van de Beek and everything else we've discussed today in those comments below. Make sure you're keeping it like, comment, share, subscribe. For now, I've been AdamMcKola. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for tuning in. See you in a bit.